So I'm Somali. I grew up in Minnetonka. I've been raised here my entire life. I am born here and I've lived here. I've studied here. I'm a pre-med. I do research, and that's usually the type of stuff I talk about on my page. But right now I feel like it's really important for me to say this. What I'm going to say is that I have been getting so many messages telling me to go back to your country, go back to your country. But the reality of the situation is the United States is the only country I've ever known my entire life.
So now Black Americans are doing their own thing. At the time, we're hoping that they would be standing up for us, being part of our coalition.
Minnesota was promised to us Somalis 2,000 years ago. Nuh-uh. The only thing that was promised to you Somalis 2,000 years ago is that light bulb shaped noggin you guys have.
All roads lead to Mogadishu, Somalia. I've booked my flight. By the end of this year, I'm moving to Somalia full time, bro. The West does not want us here anymore.
Hello good people, welcome to African Commentary. Here we learn and grow every day. So if you're new here, kindly consider subscribing, liking and sharing the videos. I will really appreciate. In today's video, we're still going to talk about Trump and the Somalis in Minnesota because the situation is really getting out of hand. I have just watched a certain video whereby it is a Somali student. She is crying on the internet saying that Americans are coming to them. After them, they're asking them to leave the US. It is not their place. She's just a student who was born in the US and she has no other place to go to. She's feeling very unsafe with all the drama that is going on between Trump and the Somalis. You know, Trump just terminated the TPS, which is temporary protection status, and so it means that some of the Somalis in Minnesota will have to go back home. They will have to be deported, and this has affected Somalis so much. So before I speak much, let's watch some videos and then I'm going to give my 2 cents at the end. Also, let me know what you think about the whole situation in the comment section down below. Thank you.
Hi, so I just really want to make this video from like a human space. This is something I've been really meaning to say, and I'm so glad that I can finally articulate it to you guys. So I'm Somali. I grew up in Minnetonka. I've been raised here my entire life. I am born here and I've lived here. I've studied here. I'm a pre-med. I do research, and that's usually the type of stuff I talk about on my page. But right now I feel like it's really important for me to say this. What I'm going to say is that I have been getting so many messages telling me to go back to your country, go back to your country. But the reality of the situation is the United States is the only country I've ever known my entire life. And the thing is, the great irony of it all is I'm not the ambassador of Somalia. I don't speak for Somali people. I'm not a spokesperson for this community. I'm just one young person trying to study, navigate life, and live like any other 20-something-year-old living here in this state. And so something that I feel like is going on is that there's a lot of immigrant people and first-gen, second-gen kids with, like me, with this weight on our shoulders trying to explain everything going on in our communities, trying to defend our communities. But I'm really no different from any other 20-something-year-old trying to make it here in this state, in this country, in this world. And so I'm sharing this because I really feel like a lot of us are being treated this way and dealing with this quietly. But the reality is we aren't symbols. We aren't some type of ambassador. We are just human beings.
Yeah, I think that that's one perspective, but the other perspective is, you're just collateral damage from the bad decisions that was made, possibly from your family, depending on how they got here. Because we still have to ask the question, right? This young woman who, you have to love and respect the fact that they were able to articulate themselves and communicate clearly about what their plight is and what's happening over in the Somali community, which she's not necessarily saying anything that we don't already know, that people that are born here inside of the United States of America, especially ones that's received birthright citizenship, meaning that their parents may not necessarily be from here, and they may have come over here either illegally or temporary protective status, but it doesn't mean that it justify the fact that we are leveraging laws that were meant for American descendants of slaves, people that did not ask to be here, and them receiving birthright citizenship should not have been extended over into people that are just normally born in the United States of America, regardless of what their circumstances are. So while I acknowledge that we should make sure that we accommodate people that are legally here in the United States of America as citizens, you can't blame people that then speak loudly about the fact that we should be putting Americans first and the people that are here already, instead of advocating for and allocating our tax dollars for people that came over here illegally. I'm not really sure what her.
Let's hear what this Somalian immigrant had to say about people wanting Somalians to leave the West.
All roads lead to Mogadishu, Somalia. I've booked my flight. By the end of this year, I'm moving to Somalia full time, bro. The West does not want us here anymore, so it's cool, we're cutting. You man are saying all roads lead to Rome. I'm saying all roads lead to Somalia, bro. I'm gonna start up a new life there. I don't know who I'm gonna meet. I might meet some criminals on the run, but that's live. I'm trying to meet some drill rappers. I'm trying to meet a few people out there. I'm not only gonna be going to Mogadishu. Obviously, the whole country is non-extradition treaty, innit? Even though I can't, like, why am I saying that? Because I'm not even a criminal. But bro, do you get what I'm saying? I'm tired of London. I'm tired of Northwest London. I'm tired of this whole city, bro. All roads lead to Rome, Banna. All roads are leading to Mogadishu, Somalia, bro. I'm moving.
So, like, does he think this is supposed to be some sort of flex? Like, my first reaction when I heard this was like, good, leave, goodbye, bye, like, leave. Like, I don't understand when people make videos like this, what do they expect our reaction is supposed to be? Like, you can go. Like at the same time, I think legal immigration is important. However, if you don't want to be here and you hate this country, you can leave. Let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe for more stories like these.
Trump is coming after Somalis in Minnesota, terminating TPS protection and stating Minnesota is being terrorized by Somali gangs. Send them back home. Yeah. Governor of Minnesota, he fired back. Ilhan Omar fired back. Republicans cheering. What? What is this? Because there's only 700 Somalis that have TPS. Majority of Somalis, they're US citizens. They're green card holders. They're refugees from the 90s. They have built communities, businesses, neighborhoods. What is he talking about? Why is he framing it like the whole Somali population depends on this TPS? This is called drama, theater, better headline. Yeah. So, what is the intention behind this drama? What's your thoughts behind this? Appreciate that.
Minnesota was promised to us Somalis 2,000 years ago. Nuh-uh. The only thing that was promised to you Somalis 2,000 years ago is that light bulb shaped noggin you guys have. Burnt light bulb.
Somalis don't belong in the United States is a stupid thing to say that a lot of loud dummies are being loud and dumb about right now. Welcome back to the Under Report, where we share hot national security goss, and I'm particularly annoyed about this dog whistle regarding Somalis because unlike the real Americans who are yelling about it, I've actually spent time in this country before. In 2017, I was writing a book about unrecognized countries, which is what brought me to the Horn of Africa in the first place. That's a picture of the back of my head. This is a picture of me with the vice president of Somaliland. I'm the one in the white shirt, in case you can't tell. While I was there, I was coordinating and delivering 7 tons of food to nomads who were affected by Cyclone Sagar. And while I was doing that, I was fortunate enough to learn a good deal about the Horn of Africa. And to understand modern Somalia, you have to understand this guy. His name is Said Barre. Said Barre was a brutal dictator who wanted to combine the best ideas from Marxism and the best ideas from Sharia law into a system that he called scientific socialism. But instead of creating a socialist paradise, he in fact used the power of the office to enrich himself and his clan, as well as cracking down violently on anybody who he considered to be an enemy of the state. He also loved disco. Anyway, back to Said Barre. So, he was originally on the side of the USSR, but the United States hated it when the USSR started making friends in Africa because we just had to stop communism no matter what, so we decided to become friends with Said Barre. But wasn't he a violent dictator? Yeah, he was. But do you think that matters? No. We didn't necessarily care how he got the Horn of Africa stable. We just wanted it stable. Do all the ethnic cleansing that you want, just keep things quiet, keep trading with us, and don't make it our problem. Shockingly, this did not work out so well. In 1992, the country descended into one of the world's bloodiest civil wars and most devastating famines. In 1992, then Republican President George H.W. Bush launched Operation Restore Hope alongside the United Nations. The goal of this was to secure humanitarian aid while also alleviating Somalia of the refugee population. It brought enormous amounts of food into an area that was rocked by civil war. Somali refugees were resettled in areas like Georgia, Texas, and especially Minneapolis, where there was a large manufacturing sector which needed additional laborers. Currently, the epicenter of the Somali diaspora is in St. Paul, Minnesota, which is why it has become such a hotspot of political conflict in the recent years. So let's look at the scorecard here. In order to deny the USSR operational space in Africa, the US supported a brutal dictator in Somalia. When his regime became far too repressive, a civil war and an ethnic cleansing started. Then a Republican president decided not only to give aid to the country, but to also work to resettle refugees in the United States where they were needed. People are making bad faith arguments about the Somali population because it suits their political purposes. The fact of the matter is, the largest majority of Somalis were brought to the United States by the United States for the United States. Nobody is walking from there to Minnesota. It's there. It's on a different continent. There is an astounding amount of arrogance and ignorance that goes into stating that Somalis don't belong in America. There are few things more American than fleeing the tyranny of your homeland for a better life.
In case you did not know, Somalis are notorious for looting, stealing, their piracy, very well known for. They marry children, they don't have women's rights, women can't vote. And when you import a bunch of them into the middle of Minnesota in our country, they're going to do the same thing. They are going to steal. They are going to... It's so crazy that we've done this. They're not going to assimilate. They are just going to find a stronghold of a shared community of values that they have, Somali values in a Western culture, and they're going to do the same thing. They're going to cut off female genitalia because 99% of Somali women have done that, or I guess had that done to them. They are going to steal. Again, what do you think of when you think of Somalia? Piracy. Which is exactly what we are seeing, because in case you did not know, there is currently a massive investigation into this Medicaid fraud scheme amongst the Somali community in our country. They're making fraudulent claims and they are stealing from the taxpayers. They're stealing from our government. And if that wasn't bad enough, it has been reported that we are the largest funder of Al-Shabaab, their terror group back in Somalia. Yeah, they've been defrauding the US government and then sending it to our enemy. And we are at work paying for it. Calling this out, it's not racist, it's not xenophobic, it's not being anti-Somali. It's saying, hey, I actually think Western culture, the freedoms that we have, are superior. I would much rather live in a country where I have a voice, where I can vote, where my genitals aren't removed, where I could wear what I want, practice what religion I want. I think that's a superior way of life. And the people in Somalia do not think that's a superior way of life. They're coming here to change it and expecting anything else from a group of people that have not changed in their home country and then bringing them here and thinking they're going to change here. It's insane. It's insanity. And it's going to be the end of our freedoms. We cannot tolerate a group of people who do not tolerate our freedoms. It's not racist. That's not xenophobic to say. It's the truth, and we better start saying it. And the option of doing nothing about this isn't there. Bye-bye. Thank you, Trump.
So aside from her seeming like she was sounding like a Chinese movie because the audio didn't seem like it was synced with her lips, that's on her side, not on my side. I think that some of it is true and then some of it is embellished, right? And this is why we have to have conversations about these type of things, because yes, they are bringing their culture over here. Yes, I have been to Minneapolis and I've witnessed it with my own eyes. Yes, I've spent over a week and seen it with my own eyes. At the same time, it's difficult for me to say that you got to get rid of them and kick them out if the majority of them are American citizens. I believe in the rule of law. I believe in operating by the Constitution. I also don't believe in birthright citizenship. And I believe that people that are not supposed to be here in the United States of America should be removed if they are an illegal migrant on the soil of the United States of America. Now, What we also need to do is change the rules by which they are leveraging American law to continue to come over here in the United States of America. So, for example, Trump did a great job by removing temporary protective status, TPS, from Somalis who are over in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they have literally overtaken Minneapolis.
The biggest fear is, as Black Americans are delineating, and America as a country is doing the same thing. They're coming after us. Donald Trump got elected. Immigrants are scared. So now Black Americans are doing their own thing. At the time, we're hoping that they would be standing up for us, being part of our coalition. But
Yeah, and that's the problem.
we don't know what to do now.
Yeah, because we told people, they kept telling us, well, you FBS don't whack hide. You don't whack. We came over with $2 and we were this, and y'all need to learn from us. It got real bad. And people got very arrogant, and even Jamaicans, they still do it. They still tell us, oh, don't come to Jamaica. Oh, don't do this. You are entitled. And y'all were telling us all of this stuff about how hard you worked and how lazy we were. And we said, okay, well, handle your business then. And now people don't like it.
And can I say something? Do you know, I think that's why a lot of immigrants are running for office. There's a lot of Somalis in Minnesota, the New York mayor, because I think they're scared now since that, the current political system in America, and maybe Black Americans are not as supportive anymore. So they feel like they have to fight for themselves. They have to have a presence, or else it's over for immigrants here.
Yeah, and that ain't working because they ain't getting elected. A lot of them are not getting elected like that. It's like Winston Sears, like your boy out there in Minnesota, Fatah, whatever his name is. He got washed, so it ain't really working out like they wanted to work out. So, hey man, it's cats should have really checked themselves with the disrespect.
So how about we have a restart, man? Black Americans and Black immigrants, we forget everything in the past. We start a new contract. We put the disputes and all this stuff to the past and just have a fresh start. Respect each other, respect each other's cultures, work together where we can work together. Let's try to work on that. I'm ready for that.
Well, the thing is, man, it's going to have to start back in the homeland. It has to start there because a lot of people bring over the same tribalistic disposition that they had over there. They bring it over here and they look at us as just another tribal group. And that's not going to work. We've been upholding global Black unity, and we've been pretty much doing it by our damn selves. So it's time for these other groups to start standing on business over in the homeland, making sure some of that tribal nonsense has stopped, and then people can come to the table and say, hey, let's get down and, let's break bread.
See, the thing about the Somalis in Minnesota is they're just a distraction. They're just the fall guy. Do you think that they're getting these federal grants and state grants without a white person signing off on them? Without a white person benefiting from this money being funneled through their community? The thing is, the same thing has happened in all other communities, but the other communities have been here long enough that they know how to itemize certain expenses. They know the loopholes. They got their lawyers on deck. So they're doing the same shit with the money, but it's just the immigrants are doing it more blatant because they're coming across from overseas so trusting. This is a land of milk and honey. So they hiding cash in their mattresses and shit like that. Whereas these people over here have offshore accounts. They have everything itemized. They have everything expensed a certain way. But it's just a distraction.
I'm not mad at the Somali people. I want y'all to hear me loud and clear. I am not mad at the Somali people in the state of Minnesota. I'm not mad at them. You know why I'm not mad at them? Because what they're doing is what happens when people come together to build an empire. And that's what they have done and are doing. They have created an empire in the state of Minnesota. And they are unified by one ideology, by one politics called Islam. They're not divided by some gender ideology. They're not divided by feminism. They're not divided by some type of queer politics or anything like that. They're not divided by liberalism. Because Islam, the kind of Islam they practice, it is resistant to liberalism. It is resistant to feminism. It is resistant to any type of ideology that would disrupt them internally. And you know what's so interesting? I'm going to say this. You know what's so interesting? What they're doing is what the Nation of Islam has been preaching since the 1930s. The Nation of Islam has tried to get Black Americans to do the same doggone thing since the 1930s. Elijah Muhammad preached it, Malcolm X preached it, Louis Farrakhan preached it. But now you see this thing in action in the state of Minnesota among the Somali people. And the president has a dilemma. And the dilemma is this, is that these people are entrenched, they are part of this society right now. Many of them are citizens. He can't deport all of them. And they're having babies, that's the thing. They are outbreeding the whites, and they're collective. I've been to Kenya, I've been to Africa, I've been to Uganda. I see how they work together in those countries. And what they're doing in those countries is what they're doing right here. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. Shout out to the Islamic Kingdom in the state of Minnesota.
You see, Trump hates everybody. Just because he's very vocal about Africans and he's deporting Africans and Mexicans and Venezuelans and people who are brown, he hates white Americans too. The only people that Trump loves is other billionaires. Let me explain this to you. Those tariffs that he's been threatening the rest of the world has had a huge significant impact, and majority of the people who are losing out are the actual white people, okay? They're on my timeline rejoicing that at the video that I said that Trump was going to be deporting people from Somalia. It's not just the people of Somalia that are going to lose out. White Americans are going to lose out big time, because 60%, it's predicted that 60% of Americans are going to in complete and utter financial crisis, which basically means they will not be able to fund their rent. They will not be able to pay for a single thing. 60%. And financial crisis doesn't select who. So if you are rejoicing that other people are in peril, you yourselves are in peril. And the thing is, at least those people can be deported to another country. You have to stay in America and suck it up. Trump is bad for everybody. He has destroyed NATO. He has destroyed the Western world as it stands. He has destroyed America. America will never, ever recover from Trump. What has he done? He has basically killed all the farming. A lot of the farmers have gone bankrupt in America. Companies that relied on things like steel or whatever from China have gone bankrupt. So you're rejoicing that poor Somalis are going to be repatriated back to Somalia, but you yourselves, your job is under threat. If you have a job, is under threat. So this is a thing. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about Africans. He doesn't care about anybody. The only people that he cares about are billionaires.
Some Somalis are not shaken at all with the Trump's news of terminating their protection status, their temporary protection status. They are actually saying that Minnesota was promised to them 2,000 years ago, and so this has been a fight between Somalis and Americans, because Americans say they feel unsafe with Somalis, because if this is something they're doing, committing fraud, money laundering, it is something that they are going to continue doing in that country, and so Americans don't want Somalis in America. But you also have Somalis who are affected by the whole thing, because most of them, especially the students, have nowhere to go. They say that America is their home. They have been born in America, specifically Minnesota, and they have lived there all their lives. Feel bad for them actually, because the actions of certain individuals have affected a whole community. So we have Somalis who are asking Black Americans for help to help them out on this. But you know what? Black Americans have said, this is your fight, it is not our fight. We have been fighting our own fight, so it's time to fight for yourselves. And that's true, because I have never seen Somalis being engaged in any protest that Black Americans partake. I have never seen them voice out, like speak out their voices on matters affecting Black Americans. So why is it now that they need Black Americans' help? They need Black Americans' voice to help them out. Why is it always Black Americans, not any other races? I've seen a certain video where a Somali young man is asking for Black Americans to help them out, but now Black Americans have said, no, you know what, you got this, you can do this yourselves. But you don't have to blame Black Americans on everything. They don't need to stand up for every race, for every community, while when it is time for Black Americans to maybe protest or speak on something, other communities are always silent, other races are always silent. Why do they pick on Black Americans to speak for them, but they don't speak for Black Americans? And also another issue is that most Somalis say they're not Black. So why is it that when they need help, they now see Black Americans as people, and yet they say they themselves, they're not Black? So I feel like it's fair if Black Americans sit out on this one, because I have never seen Somalis engaging in anything that would help Black people, Black Americans in the US. There was a certain lady who was saying that Americans should also be worried. They shouldn't be rejoicing when the Somalis are in this chaos, when they have these issues, because Trump hates white Americans too. It is not that he hates immigrants, Black Americans only. No, Trump hates the whites too. I don't know how true this is, but she said that it is predicted about Americans, white Americans are going to lose 60% of their properties, of everything they own. So they should be ready that Trump only loves the people of his kind, the billionaires, the one who bring to him something. But for you others, whether you're white, Black, African, or wherever, Trump doesn't care about you. So when this woman said this woman has received so much backlash from white Americans after she said this, because Americans think Trump is on their side and they trust Trump and they believe in him. Despite everything that he's doing, Americans see that Trump can't do anything that will affect them. And this woman went on ahead to say that, you know what, it's better for these other races, for the immigrants, for Somalis, they have somewhere to go. But you know, for the white Americans, they have nowhere to go. The US is their home. So when it's their time to be deported or something done to them, where will they run to? And this pissed off Americans. So generally, I feel like I said before, Trump is going from group to group. I don't think this is just about the Somalis and it is done like that. No, I feel like he's going from races to races, or from communities to communities, from groups to groups. It is something they are strategically planning in order to wipe out people in the US. Maybe he wants to just remain with billionaires, his fellow people, his fellow kind. For the Americans, don't rejoice so much, because you never know what is coming. After all, his policies affect you all. It doesn't choose, it affects all Americans. So for you to rejoice right now when another community is suffering, I don't think it's wise, because you don't know what Trump might decide. As long as you're not part of his family, just know that he can decide anything about you, whether you're a white American, Black American, brown, or whatever race you are. Just know that Trump can wake up today, tomorrow, and say this. He can even say everyone to leave America for him, and you will do nothing about it. So don't rejoice, but just maybe be kind enough, because I feel like it's so much for the Somalis, especially for the Somalis who are not involved in the alleged scandals, in the fraud, in the money laundering, terrorism, and all those things. I feel like there are innocent Somalis who are suffering just because of those individuals who are suspected or who are suspects. So be kind enough to the Somalis. I feel them. Not that I love them. I don't even know any Somali personally, but for the fact that they are there in a country that it is not theirs, I can really understand the pressure they are feeling, like the feeling of being unsafe, the feeling of being threatened. You see, some are saying they are being threatened by Americans to leave the US. Give them time. I believe that they are having a solution out. So with that said, guys, let me leave it at here. Let me know your thoughts about this whole situation. Do you feel like Somalis should leave the US? All Somalis should leave the US? Do you feel like it's right? Do you support Trump in whatever he's doing? Or you feel like he should hold the ones responsible accountable? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. I will really appreciate it. Bye.